Hi, this is Mr. West, and you are watching a tutorial video for missing numbers and equations from MathDrills.com. Make sure to check out MathDrills. They have tons of great worksheets available. In this one, we're doing some basic algebra here. So what does this mean? If you're seeing letters for the first time, don't be afraid. It's just talking about unknown numbers. So imagine that you don't know what you started with. Like you go to the store, and you don't know how much money you had in your wallet. And then one of your friends shows up and they're like, hey, here's $7. And you see him at the store and he's like, here's $7. And then you checked your wallet afterwards and you say, hey, I have $10 now. So my friend gave me $7. Now I have $10. How much did I start with? Well, you started off with 3. 3 plus 7 equals 10. And that's essentially what you're doing in all of this. But you need to have it like this. You need to have the variable equal to, and then that number. So k equals 3. It's kind of like going backwards through substitution and evaluating functions. You probably have done, or evaluating equations, I should say. You've probably done something like, if x equals 3, find the value of the expression where you have something like 3x plus 2, where you plug in that number 4x, and then you get an answer, okay? Here we're going backwards. We're trying to find the value of x instead, or the variable. In this case, this one for number 1 was k, and you're trying to find the value. Now, how do you go about doing this? Let's say you don't know, how did I get 3? Well, essentially the process is you go backwards. If you ended up with $10, okay, after your friend gave you money, you know he gave you 7, well, you could just take that $7 out of the wallet and you could find out how much money you started with. Well, how do you take money out? What does that mean in math if you take money out of something or take it away? Well, you take it away. You subtract. Okay, so if you want to find out how much money you started with, you need to go backwards. And that's the principle of algebra, is doing opposite operations to get the variable by itself. One thing you'll know is I wrote -7 twice. You're like, why'd you write -7 twice? It's because you have to keep it balanced with an equation. Equation is a sign of equality, so both sides need to be equal. So if you subtract 7 from one side, you also have to do it to the other. Otherwise, it will make untrue statements. For example, we knew 3 was the answer, right? 3 plus 7 equals 10. If I subtracted 7 from just the right side, well, look what happens. It says 3 plus 7 equals 3. That's not true. That's a false statement. That equality sign, that equal sign, is no longer true, which cannot happen. But let's say I have 3 plus 7 equals 10, and I subtract 7 from both sides. What happens? Let me move this up, actually. Whoops. Pause. Okay, here, back in. So if I subtract 7 from both sides, I get 3 equals 3. That's still a true statement, okay? 3 plus 7 equals 10 was true. Check. I subtract 7 from both sides. 3 equals 3. Check. It's still true. So that's why you have to subtract from both sides. Let's continue. So if I subtract 7 from 7, what do I get? I get 0. K plus 0 is just k. So k equals 10 minus 7, 3. And I got my answer. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. Look at this. There we go. Okay, moving on to number 2. 2 plus s equals 9. So let's say I started out with $2. My friend gives me a wad of cash real quick and then runs off. Good friend. And now I have $9. How much money did he give me? Well, what I can do is I can just take away the money I started with to find out how much money he gave me. I take away the known amount, which is $2, from both sides. Again, I have to minus 2 from both sides of the equal sign. 2 minus 2 is 0. I know s plus 0 is just s. S equals, well, what's 9 minus 2? 7. My friend gave me $7. And that's how you solve for s in this case. And this is how it's going to work for all these. Since they're all addition, you're going to subtract 7. Well, not 7. It's going to be dependent. You're going to subtract from both sides. Since they're all addition, the opposite operation of addition is subtraction. And I'm going to get q. This is my dividing line. I've seen a lot of teachers do this. Students seem to like it. I have to keep this on both sides. That separates it. So I do -7 on the left. Here's the left side. -7 on the right. Here's the right side. And I get q equals 5. I can always check my answer. Here's how you check your answer. You go 7 plus, instead of writing q, the unknown value, you write 5. And so I do the check in that 7 plus 5. Does that equal 12? Yes, it does. Okay, so we're going to keep going here. We're going to subtract 7. I get r equals, what is that, 6, and I'm done. We're going to do it for all of these. -3, -3. I get x equals 6. And yeah, a lot of these you can do in your head. If you know that 1 plus something equals 10, well, most likely you're thinking s equals 9. I'm just letting you know your math teacher down the road is going to want you to show your work, and your math teacher is going to want you to keep equations balanced on both sides. So that's very important that you learn the basics of algebra before you get started, and don't just do this in your head, okay? It's not too hard writing it on both sides as you do this, okay? So that's the bottom line of this activity. If you need a specific problem done with this, let me know, but pretty much all of these are the same. You're just going to be subtracting from both sides. If you have any other help or need any other help, just let me know, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Wes Explains Best.